Hi, welcome to Take 5, where we daily consider devotional thoughts from Oswald Chambers' book, My Utmost for His Highest. Today is October 1st, and the title of today's devotional is The Place of Exaltation. Jesus took them up on a high mountain apart by themselves, Mark 9, verse 2. Chambers begins, we have all experienced times of exaltation on the mountain, when we have seen things from God's perspective and have wanted to stay there. The megachurch's contemporary worship service is designed to create this aura of being on a mountaintop with Christ, an exalted feeling of being right there next to God. At a time when I was out of fellowship with God, roughly 15 or so years ago, I walked in for the first time the worship service of a megachurch. It terrified me and I immediately walked out. This was not the church atmosphere I had grown up in. This was much more a rock concert approach, and I couldn't connect the two. This is, however, the aim of today's modern church service. It gives the worshiper what they are used to experiencing in the unsaved world. They've taken what's found in the world and attached Christ to it. It can be a thrilling experience and certainly gives reason as to why some people want to go back on a weekly basis. My questions, though, are, is it real and does it last? For me, I found it to grow boring due to lack of depth, but that's not the topic of today's devotional. Moving on, regarding the mountaintop experience one can feel at times, Dr. C continues, but God will never allow us to stay there. The true test of our spiritual life is in exhibiting the power to descend from the mountain. Your genuine life is not lived on a mountaintop kind of experience. That's not real life, and this is what Chambers is addressing when he says that our actual walk with Christ will be seen in how we live it out on a day-to-day basis with everything we normally encounter, little of it being Christ-like in nature. Dr. Chambers reveals, if we only have the power to go up, something is wrong. It is a wonderful thing to be on the mountaintop with God, but person only gets there so that he may later go down and lift up the demon-possessed people in the valley. This is what happened in today's Bible account. Once Christ and the three apostles descended from the glorious time they had just spent, they walked into an antbed of problems. The truth Dr. C is wanting us to understand is that mountaintop times are made to fill us so we are better prepared to live in the valley among those who are diseased with sin and disbelief. OC says we are not made for the mountains, for sunrises, or for the other beautiful attractions in life. Those are simply intended to be moments of inspiration. We are made for the valley and the ordinary things of life, and that is where we have to prove our stamina and strength. Chambers is challenging us with, do you find yourself to have the spiritual fortitude to live as Christ did in a non-Christian environment? This is where the rubber meets the road. There will be those who find this too difficult, that of life not always being a church experience. Dr. C says, our spiritual selfishness always wants repeated moments on the mountain. We feel that we could talk and live like perfect angels if we could only stay on the mountaintop. Were life to be perfect with no struggles against sin and temptation and everyone around us loved Jesus, then we feel that we could perfectly live out a life fully surrendered to God. Well, that's a great idea. Which failed from the get-go as witnessed with Adam and Eve, those first two who started out in a perfect environment and yet still sinned. Chambers reminds us that those times of exaltation are exceptional and they have their meaning in our life, with God, but we must beware to prevent our spiritual selfishness from wanting to make them the only time. Chambers points out that everything which happens to us in life is designed to build our character, meaning what we are made of when only God is watching. He then closes with that mountaintop experiences are to be rare moments, but that aren't wasted. His last sentence is kind of a cliffhanger for tomorrow. Revealed, however, it is saying that mountaintop purposes are where we see God's glory, and His glory is what we carry in us once we descend into the inglorious valley of life. Thanks for being here today. Now may God's grace and peace be ours as we seek to live our utmost for His highest. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.